Hi there to all of you viewers of Equinoxe Television, 6 p.m. in Douala. It's time for the news. Thank you so much for joining us. Our magistrates tonight, the Bishop of the Kumba Diocese has called on the faithful and Cameroonians to speak nothing but the truth if we must resolve the numerous crises and challenges we face on a daily basis in the country. His Lordship Agapitus Fon was speaking during the Pontifical Mass he celebrated at the Cathedral in Kumba, that was on Easter Sunday. Meanwhile, the moderator of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon, Reverend Fonky Foba, cries out as the territorial integrity of Cameroon is being tampered with as the state looks on indifferently somehow. Speaking to our reporters, he says the presence of Nigeria is more felt in Akwaya than that of Cameroon. Details of those stories and more in this edition of the news. Welcome back, viewers. Thank you so much for being with us to begin this edition of the news. In Akwaya, in the Manu division of the Southwest region, Akwaya subdivision in the Manu division of the Southwest region today qualified as a no man's land added to the underdevelopment challenges and the Anglophone crisis. Heavily armed herdsmen have attacked the area severally. And our reporter Babila Jonathan, in an interview with Reverend Fonky Foba, tells us that the presence of Nigeria is more felt in Akwaya than that of Cameroon. Let's now have the details with Babila Jonathan.
A no man's land, an abandoned community, a prey to foreign invasion. These are the words that are used today to describe Akwaya in the Manu Division, southwest region of Cameroon.
In terms of our sovereignty, I think Akwaya is becoming a no man's land because it seems as if the government of Cameroon has abandoned the people of Akwaya to themselves, and whatever is happening there, they don't bother. The administration of Akwaya is hardly on seat, and you can't blame them because they don't have access to roads, no pipe-borne water, no electricity, no internet, no network.
The people living there are now at the mercy of armed foreign herdsmen who have been killing persons, destroying and looting properties in the area since 2020.
These herdsmen, Fulani fellows who are raiders, they are coming from Nigeria. They come in and do whatever they want to do, and if you resist, you are killed. They do not just come in with den guns. They come in with sophisticated weaponry, and they do whatever they want to do. Loot the whole village, loot everything of valuable nature from the people.
The people are also concerned about attempts to take over that portion of the Cameroonian territory. They suspect that the raiders have political motives.
If not of the sacrifice of the Akwaya people, would have been Nigerians. There was a time that the government of Nigeria came into the area because they know that Cameroon has neglected that area. And if you just cross the stream, you enter a third road into Nigeria. Just a stream, little stream. You're on a third road. So they came into that area and with their machines and everything to issue for free Nigerian national identity cards to us, and we refused.
The silence of Cameroonian authorities is raising questions.
We cannot stand hands folded and watch the destruction of the people through terrorist attacks and all forms of inhuman behavior against a people we know are part of us.
Akwaya subdivision shares borders with 3 Nigerian states. Created in 1963, it is made up of over 9 tribes, spread over a surface area that covers up to 3 divisions in some parts of the country.
From Akwaya in the Manu division of the Southwest region, now we take you to Nous in the Northwest region. The Nous Council's 2023 Administrative Management and Stores Account session was an opportunity for the Nous Council to present its challenges to the Senior Divisional Officer for the Ndonga Mantung division, while the Nous Council management is multiplying efforts to accelerate local development. Insecurity remains a major impediment in the Nous West zone. Meanwhile, in Kambe, council development efforts are being slowed down by a challenging local council revenue collection, like the case of the 2023. These problems were presented to the Senior Divisional Officer for the Ndonga Mantung division in their respective administrative management and stores account sessions. For me, Armstrong Sanda with details.
Created in 1993, Nous Council is the economic heartbeat and the gateway municipality into the Ndonga Mantung division of the Northwest region of Cameroon. The council area is subdivided into 4 zones, and the mayor says insecurity remains a major challenge in the Nous West zone, grouping Tundib, Lo, Taku, and Garum villages.
Let's work hard to make our villages security green zone, green areas.
Even with these security challenges, the council succeeded in generating revenue to realize important infrastructural projects.
Nous Council executed all its projects, especially big, from 2020 to 2023.
With the council winning the Best Managed Council Awards from the Northwest Public Independent Conciliator, plus the administrative, management and stores accounts of Nous voted at 100% by councillors, the mayor of Nous says their secret is teamwork.
Since 2020, when we took over, 1 month after, I delegated some powers to deputy mayors, and so each deputy mayor has something to do.
Over in Kambe, headquarters of the Ndonga Mantung division, the mayor Musa Shamefo was applauded for a 100% execution of public investment projects by his councillors.
For the cancellation of the sum of 6,529,596 francs being unused credit from projects in 2023.
The council witnessed a drop in local council revenue collection, largely due to the harsh economic situation of Cameroon and the region. A situation which, however, did not stop the council from winning the Cleanest City Awards in the Northwest region and ranking 6th on the national scale, as identified by the SGO for the Ndonga Mantung division, George Magwaba Siliken.
Congratulations to this team.
The Nkambe and Nous council sessions were supervised by the Senior Divisional Officer for the Ndonga Mantung division. The SGO in all the cases challenged councillors to be peace ambassadors in their respective villages.
And now let's talk about voter registration ahead of elections in Cameroon. Many Cameroonians have been urged to shun phrases such as "I am apolitical" or "what will change" whenever they are asked if they have a voter's card. Visiting one of the Lekam outdoor registration centers in Bilonge Douala 3 subdivision, many potential voters decry the fact that limited manpower makes them stand in queues for several hours, thereby discouraging others from getting themselves registered. Immaculate Fogwe reports.
Tens of people in the Bilonge neighborhood, Douala 3 subdivision, struggling to get themselves registered on an electoral list. They, however, decry the slow pace of work, given that they are obliged to spend several minutes as they wait for their turn. I abandoned my shop to get myself registered, but look at the long line. They need to employ more workers. It will encourage many others to get themselves registered. While Elections Cameroon announces 144,000 fresh potential voters, many believe the number would have been higher if all dispositions were taken. On ordinary days, you don't see Elekam workers in Bilonge. We had to call them to come here on Sunday. They have been paid to carry out the job, so they need to be available for the population. As the country grapples with rising insecurity, high cost of living, corruption and other ills, these young voters say they are keener now to have a say about their future leader. I have been unemployed since I graduated. I am unable to provide for my family. Now I am aware that my vote counts, reason why I came to register myself. On the field are militants of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement political party. They are sensitizing the population on the incense on getting their names on the electoral list. 2025 is around the corner, and staying indifferent on the basis of being apolitical will not be able to bring the change Cameroonians have been yearning for.
And now over to one of our lead stories. The Bishop of the Kumba Diocese has called on Cameroonians to speak nothing but the truth if we must resolve the numerous crises and challenges Cameroonians face on a daily basis in the country. His Lordship Agapetus Fon was speaking during Easter Pontifical Mass he celebrated at the Cathedral in Kumba. Let's now have more with Lucy Liengu Isie.
Christians, mostly leaders in Cameroon, have to speak the truth so peace can reign in the country. These are the words of His Lordship Agapetus Fon, Bishop of Kumba Diocese, during the Easter Mass.
It is my prayer, if our leaders who speak the truth, there will be justice, there will be peace, and there will be love and happiness in our country.
The bishop encouraged the Christians to keep trusting God.
Christ has shown us that there is hope, and that if He, who is God, could love us to the extent of dying for our sake in order to give us new life, there is hope that He hears our prayers, that He will touch the hearts of those who can make things good for our people, where there is justice, where there is peace, and the people will find joy in their lives.
The Mass at the Kumba Diocese ended with songs of praises and worship as Christians celebrated Easter in serenity. While at the Presbyterian Church Boya Road in Kumba, the Christians celebrated the resurrection of Jesus Christ with satisfaction and joy.
Some years back, we could not celebrate like this. We have celebrated without any disturbances. There's no noise around. The guns are not smoking. And I think it's something for us to celebrate. Why not take the opportunity to work for peace? Because the one that we celebrate, the one who died and rose up again, was the Prince of Peace.
Reverend Sign Godlove, the parish pastor, plead on the government for peace talks.
And to celebrate him truly, we should celebrate him in peace. Why not cause for a ceasefire? Why not look for a solution? Instead of declaring war, it is time that we should declare peace.
However, the Easter celebration in Kumba, Southwest region, was hit-free. Families feasted with their loved ones at home in remembrance of the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ.
And now we take you out of our national frontiers. In Senegal, the outgoing President Macky Sall will officially give way for the newly elected President of Senegal, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, that would be on Tuesday during the inauguration ceremony. The two men had earlier met to better organize the handing over ceremony that would take place tomorrow. Details with Cedric Chakuti.
In Senegal, the outgoing President Macky Sall will officially give way to the new one, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, this Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024. The swearing-in by Diomaye Faye will take place, and the outgoing president will definitely leave his position as Senegalese head of state. To better organize the ceremony, the two men must agree on certain arrangements. The location of the ceremony, the guests are, among other things, the subject on which Macky Sall and Diomaye Faye must agree. According to latest news, even if everything is finally ready in terms of organization for the ceremony on April 2nd, there was still a disagreement between the two presidents. According to Senegalese press, while the incoming president Bassirou Diomaye Faye would have wanted a small ceremony in a smaller room, his predecessor saw things in big. Macky Sall would have informed his successor that he has already sent invitation to around 15 heads of state and government. Thus, the room of the Constitutional Council where Diomaye Faye would have wanted the ceremony to take place would be too small to contain the guests. In this context, Ousmane Sonko's right-hand man was forced to comply with the predecessor's proposal to preserve the image of the state. Rumors has it that the Mauritanian and Gambian president, as well as 10 other ECOWAS heads of state, are expected.
And that does it for the first part of the news. Thank you, viewers, for watching. Don't go away. Talking Points comes up next. Welcome back, viewers. Today we are discussing about the suspension of the salaries of some ghost workers by the Minister for Secondary Education, Nalova Liunga, across the national territory. And our guest tonight is Mr. Sama Abangmungwa. Mr. Sama, thank you so much for accepting to be our guest on Talking Point tonight. You are an educationist and a trade unionist, and you're also a social and political commentator. Thanks again for your time. Now, the Minister for Secondary Education has suspended the salaries of over 200 teachers across the national territory. Most of them are in the northwest and southwest regions. Professor Nalova Liunga says the teachers have been absent from their duty posts for some time. You might not be one of those whose salaries have been suspended, but you are a teacher in the southwest region. What do you make of such a decision considering the security situation in the northwest and the southwest with regards to schools, teachers, and also students?
Good evening, and accept seasonal greetings from Boya. It's Easter period. Accept greetings to you and the Equinoxe family. Thank you for having me once again on your show. I think the minister's decision is not one that targets teachers in the northwest and the southwest per se, as you may think, but it's a bigger picture. It's an attempt in his clean school policy to rid his ministerial department of the cancerous phenomenon of ghost teachers. It's the result of an internal census exercise to detect and weed out members of his ministerial department who are not in service, who are not teaching, a majority of whom have gone out of the country for greener pastures elsewhere, but who happen to still be on the payroll of the public service. And so, far from your insinuation, the ministerial exercise is not an attack against teachers of the northwest and the southwest, because on the list whose copy I have, it actually cuts across the national territory. It's unfortunate that a majority or a good number of those who have been affected are teachers in the northwest and the southwest. But permit me also make it clear that I have thousands of teachers in the northwest and the southwest who are in the country but not teaching because their schools are non-functional, and who still continue to receive their salaries. The ministerial action, as I said, is within the context of the fight against the phenomenon of ghost workers, absentee workers, ghost workers within her ministerial department.
Now, Mr. Sama, some teachers have been frowning at the minister's decision, like we said above, advancing reasons such as insecurity. But there are students in those areas who have the right to education. How do you think the equation can be balanced in this case?
Understand that on the list of those who have been affected, there are some who are in the country and who might not have been able to take part in the numerous census exercises, as a result of which salaries have been suspended for some. But we also know that it is also common knowledge that we have seen cases where, like the notorious case of the SDO for Ngo Kitunja, who unilaterally, even without passing through the titulary ministries, suspended or wrote in favor of the suspension of salaries for teachers of Ngo Kitunja division, which was effectively done. And a good number of them went without salaries. Those are the cases that, as a trade unionist, as an advocate for human rights protection, we are interested in, to see how the injustice being meted against teachers who find themselves at such a crossroads of evil are not victimized. And it is a very difficult situation, and I think, as I've often said, only a teacher who is alive is able to teach. Only a living teacher is able to teach, just like only a living pupil or learner is able to go to school. And you must be aware of the fact that the population of the Bamenda-Manfe corridor passing through Batibo is just coming out of a 30-day imposed lockdown imposed by separatist fighters who passed for freedom fighters. And in the course of this 30-day period, on my record, from information gotten from the ground, at least four persons lost their life for daring to challenge or for daring to go out on the roads to fend for themselves and their families. They were shot down by whosoever. That should already tell you the situation on the ground. And as we say, it's unfortunate when we think that we can use teachers and school children as political pawns to fight a political war.
I think you're right there, Mr. Sama. It needs to be alive to teach or to study. Now, some opinions think all schools in red zones or in interior villages where insecurity is really high should be relocated to major towns which seem to be safer. Can that be a panacea? Again, people still live in those villages, tagged red zones.
Location of schools to safer zones is a window dressing mechanism that doesn't solve a problem. GHS Bojongo in Boya operated from the premises of the Teachers Training College in Mile 4 Limbe. But that school was created to serve the needs of the population of Bojongo Court area. As we speak, unless it has just happened recently, the Government Technical College in Oku, in the village of the former Prime Minister of this republic, in Bui Division, has been holding in the campus of GBTHS, the Government Bilingual Technical High School in Nkwen Bamenda. Nkwen is in Mezam, Oku is in Bui Division. We're talking of 2 divisions across. When you move a school is not only what is created on paper. It has to do with infrastructure and the population it was created to serve. Do you move the children as well? Do you move the families as well? Do you move every other stakeholder as well? As we speak, GHS Bafia Moyoka, in Moyoka subdivision, over 4 villages across Moyoka town is domiciled in Moyoka town itself. Did you move the children for whom that school was created? So, whose needs are served by a school that has been delocalized? When you remove GSS Bukutole and it operates in GHS Boya Bokwango, does it serve the need of the Tole population or it serves the need of the Bokwango population? When you move all the other 19 schools in Batibo subdivision, from Annam to Ambo to Inya to Asham right down to Tiben, and you localize them in the campus of GHS Batibo, do you move the entire population as well? So, what population does a localized school serve? At the end of the day, you will accept with me that it is window dressing, it is a window dressing technique that doesn't solve a problem, that rather creates more greater problems, especially when we know that a good number of these public schools have an infrastructural problem.
Thank you for those precisions, Mr. Sama. Now, before we go, we recently saw how teachers in the mentioned division of the Northwest region who were kidnapped were severely manhandled by the kidnappers just because they are teachers. So there is a problem. What should be done then? Looks like the only solution is solving the primary or principal problem, which is the Anglophone crisis in its entirety. But while waiting, how can this situation be handled so teachers can go to school without fear.
And it has gone beyond the problems of teachers and teaching. It is no longer at our level. When the fishes were still young and still very tender, the fishermen refused to fry them. Now that the fishes are quite bigger and quite mature and are not even willing to die, frying them is virtually out of question. We must be able to look at other options and other alternatives to see how we can resolve it. And again, as I said, it is dishonesty when we want to reduce the problems in the Northwest and the Southwest to the problems of teachers and teaching. I think the teacher-teaching problem is quite peripheral to what we are living in the Northwest and the Southwest. I would want to take you to the book that was written by the late Emeritus Cardinal Christian Tumi before he died, where he explained his experience in captivity. On page 35 of that document entitled "My Night in Captivity," you would permit me read it for the better edification of your audience. The next morning, we left Fumban for Kumbu through Bamenda. We drove in total silence through Bavusam to Bamenda. When we arrived at the Bamenda station, we went to pay our respects to the governor. As we were getting into town, I called him to let him know we would like to meet him as we were on our way to Kumbu. He asked that we meet him at his residence because he does not go to his office on Mondays. And we might, since we are in the season of the resurrection of Christ, we might need a resurrected or a reincarnated, at best, reincarnated Christian Cardinal Tumi to come tell us whether the governor of a region has started going to work on Mondays, and whether the security situation, which I'm sure was responsible for the governor not going to work on Mondays, has normalized, and whether, if it has normalized for the governor, whether in the same magnitude it has normalized for every other ordinary citizen, the teacher being included. We have seen that education and teachers have been taken hostage, have been ambushed as scapegoats in this crisis, something that we decry on both sides. Teachers have become the bait for the protagonists of the war, which is wrong because the education of the children should not be traded for anything, for any reason whatsoever. But unfortunately, it is no longer in the hands of the teacher, who is just a victim caught between two extremes and two evils.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sama Mungwa, for accepting to be our guest on Talking Point tonight, though with some little sound synchronization issue. The message was passed across. Thank you again for being our guest. And viewers, thank you so much for being with us on Equinoxe Television. See you again tomorrow. God willing. Bye-bye for now.